Good evening, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Robert Donovan, and I'm a co-chair of the New York Democratic Lawyers Council. On behalf of my group, as well as our co-sponsors, the National Democratic Law Students Council and the New York Democratic Law Students Council, I'd like to thank you all for making time to join us this evening for what I'm sure will be an exciting discussion with candidates seeking the Democratic nomination to become our state's next Attorney General. As you may know, the New York Democratic Lawyers Council is the voting rights project of the New York State Democratic Committee in the DNC. We work primarily on voting rights issues in New York State, advocating for reforms that will safeguard the voting process and open it up administratively to as many eligible voters as possible. We also, of course, recruit, train, and manage election monitors on Election Day. Quick show of hands, who in the audience has been an NYDLC election monitor, either in New York State or somebody who's traveled abroad, traveled to other states to do the same kind of work? Give these folks a round of applause. Thank you guys very much. We're going to need you all this fall when we go to the paper ballot optical scan voting technology and leave the lever machines behind. So get plenty of rest, because with that going on in New York State, as well as many races in other states sure to be close, this year, as every year, it's critical that every voter be able to cast their ballot and that their votes be counted accurately. So all the sponsoring organizations this evening would like to thank Cardozo Law School, our host, for their hospitality. And on that note, it's my pleasure to introduce the head of Cardozo Law School, Dean Matthew Dillard.
Thank you, Robert, and welcome to all of you on behalf of the Benjamin N. Cardozo School of Law. This event is very much in keeping with the school's commitment to the practice of law in the public good. And I have to say, as a law professor, I can't resist the temptation to lecture a bit, so I'm going to do so, although not at the expense of your time, and just underscore that the position of Attorney General for the state of New York is one of the most important positions in our legal system in the nation. And so it's great that you are all here tonight and focused on this election, because it is critically important. The Attorney General the Attorney General's office in the state of New York plays a number of key functions. One is it represents the state of New York in litigation in both federal and state court, including before the Supreme Court of the United States. And the other is the Attorney General brings suits on behalf of the people of the state of New York. Both of those are critically important functions. Both of those have become more important and more pressing over the past decade. Over the past decade, the Attorney Generals throughout the country, led by leadership here in New York, have played a central role in law enforcement, starting with the tobacco litigation a decade ago, but continuing on to issues such as global warming, climate change, labor standards. A number of Attorney Generals, I don't know whether any of these candidates would do this, but a number of Attorney Generals have filed lawsuits challenging the new health care plan that Congress has enacted. And so the Attorney Generals play an increasingly important and key role. The New York State Attorney General has long been a leader among Attorney Generals nationally, and New York has really led the way in litigation on a wide variety of areas, including global warming, everything from global warming to interstate sale of wine through the internet, which was a case that the Attorney General's office represented the state before the Supreme Court a few years ago. So the range of issues is incredibly vast. They are incredibly important and pressing, and I will be listening attentively tonight, and I hope that you will be as well, because I'm very interested to hear what the candidates have to say on their vision of really this critically important office. We are fortunate tonight, and the order here has been, how they've worked out the seating order, I don't know, but we are fortunate to have Assemblyman Richard Brodsky of the 92nd Assembly District, Sean Coffey, a trial attorney and former federal prosecutor and assistant U.S. attorney for the United States, for the Southern District of New York, Eric Dinallo, former head of the New York State Insurance Department and former assistant district attorney in New York County. Kathleen Rice could not be here today, and we also have Eric Schneiderman, New York State Senator since 1998. Moderating this event and really our presiding over these proceedings is Liz Benjamin, host of YNN's Capital Tonight and New York Daily News columnist. Ms. Benjamin.